Hello broskies and welcome back to another edition of Buy or Buy. And if you're new here, I'm Erkin and this is the life of a broski, where of course I bring you sneakers, lifestyle and more waffle than Captain Birdseye. Now broski, today's episode is a little different from what I'm used to. I was going to review these sneakers separately, and as you can tell from the title, this is going to be a comparison review. Because these sneakers are very similar yet very different, and they also come from the same pack, I thought I'd put them head to head and to see which one is the best to go for. So broskis, on today's episode I am reviewing the Unity pack, Puma Future Rider, and also the Puma Street Rider. So broskis, like I've mentioned, these both come in the Unity pack by Puma, and it has a nice message behind it. The collection and colorways in this pack is to signify the unification of the world. And of course, these are very much inspired by the 80s retro runners, such as the Fast Rider. Now, being as similar as they are, they also have some features to separate them. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the price, the feeling on foot, the sizing, comfort and breathability. And broskis, I'm going to start with the Future Rider just because I can. So broskis, starting off with the Future Rider. In my opinion, this sneaker has definitely been slept on. Now, the materials used on this sneaker is a mixture between mesh, leather, canvas and suede. I do feel it has a good balance of keeping these nice and light, breathable and of course comfortable. Now, of course we have the mesh panels on the toe box with the leather overlays for the Puma logo and also the suede overlay around the toe box. We also have the Puma writing in gold on that leather panel on the lateral side of the lace cage. Of course they come with roped laces with the gold tips which cover the green tongue. Now this tongue has retro vibes written all over. It has the Puma logo and branding at the top and also inside, with of course that black border. Now around the heel counter is where things really get interesting. Of course we have that Puma at the back with that leather overlay, and on the lateral and medial side, what blends the upper to the midsole are those black TPU blocks. And of course we have those red pull tabs on the medial and lateral side too, which adds to that sports aesthetic. There is that yellow strip that borderlines the midsole to the upper, and of course we have that rider foam comfort in the midsole. And last but not least, on this outsole is that rugged, durable and gum outsole with the circular traction panels, which of course are inspired by those retro runners. And at the back we have that rider foam branding, and where the heel counter meets the midsole, it curves just behind. Now broskis, first impressions with this sneaker. I have been a fan of the Future Rider in general, but when I saw the Unity pack, I had to grab this colorway. Now these do retail for £75, as of course they've just recently been released. But these being the cheaper option out of the Street Rider and Future Rider, these are £10 cheaper in the UK. But does it feel less expensive? So diving into the sizing of this sneaker, I've got to say they fit a bit too snug for my liking. So I'll advise go at least half a size up, and if you have wide feet, go at least one size up. But I would say, because everyone's feet are different, try these on in store if you can. Now when it comes to the comfort of this sneaker, I was actually pleasantly surprised. A lot of the top-notch sneakers when it comes to comfort are way over £100. But in my opinion, Puma do offer a lot of affordable sneakers that are comfortable and of course stylish. One of my favorite sneakers out at the moment is the Puma RSX, in particular the winterized. For what Puma offers in a lot of their lifestyle sneakers, you do get a lot more bang for your buck. So with comfort, I cannot complain with this sneaker. That foam rider midsole and alongside the way the upper hugs your foot is very, very impressive. So for comfort, out of 10, I'm gonna give a solid 9. I didn't expect these to be as comfortable as they were, and it has a great blend and balance between the materials on the upper. Speaking of the materials on the upper, the breathability on this sneaker is actually right up there. Now you would think because of so many mixtures of materials on this sneaker that the breathability may be sacrificed. Of course, Puma, being the brand that they are, they have infused the materials in the right way. So out of 10 for breathability, a solid 8.5. So broskis, that's enough from the Future Rider. I'm gonna hand it over to the Street Rider to talk about this sneaker. So broskis, of course, this is the Street Rider Unity Pack in the colorway of white and high risk. Now these do retail for £85, so they are £10 more than the Future Rider, but do they offer anything more? Now looking at this sneaker straight away, it does feel like it's built a lot more rugged. With the chunkier look and design, you can definitely tell the difference. There is of course the same exact use of the materials in terms of leather, mesh, canvas and suede. But of course this sneaker does use the materials differently, so the panels have changed quite a bit. There is the same mesh toe box, but we have that leather white overlay at the toe cap. And of course those canvas materials on the medial and lateral side, with that yellow stitch design underneath that leather Puma logo, which is on top of that red canvas. There are two black panels on each side of this sneaker that has that black pearl effect and adds that shinier look to this sneaker. Now there are flat laces on this sneaker compared to the roped ones on the Future Rider, but they do look a lot cleaner. Now this sneaker does have a chunkier tongue and a totally different aesthetic. There is that green panel on the front with the Puma branding, and underneath is that black and white contrast. Now going to the heel counter, there is that canvas blue panel at the top with that Puma branding, and on the overlay is that white leather panel. And if you actually look at it from a certain angle, it does slightly look like a stormtrooper. And once you see that, it's hard to unsee it. Now instead of those black TPU blocks that fuse the midsole to the upper, there is that rugged foam that is separated by that green line. And of course, again, we have that Rider foam midsole. There is also that gum colored outsole, and these do have the same traction panels, just in a squared off shape. And instead of curving towards the back at the heel counter like the Future Rider, the outsole curves more towards the front. So broskis, now that we've seen both of these on foot and in hand, let's try and see what we'd go for. So trying this sneaker on compared to the Future Rider, I'm actually gonna say I prefer the Future Rider on foot. This just has that heavier feel, that more insulated feeling, and it's a lot more chunkier. Now in my opinion, for a summer sneaker, I always prefer them light, breathable, and a bit more narrow. But in terms of sizing, these actually fit true to size. Both of these sneakers are a size 9 UK, and these fit me a lot better in terms of sizing. Now I know they both use that Rider foam midsole, so they have a very similar feel. It's just I have to give the edge to the Future Rider in terms of comfort. The midsole stays the same, it's just the materials on the upper just sit a lot nicer on the Future Riders. And let's put pricing away for a moment. If I had to choose out of both of them in terms of how comfortable they are, there would only be one winner, the Future Rider all day long. Now don't get me wrong, just because I prefer the Future Rider doesn't mean this sneaker is terrible. The comfort is still right up there. For the £85 price tag, I would actually struggle to find sneakers just as comfortable. But out of 10, I'm gonna give an 8. So even though this sneaker does use the same materials, it does also use them very differently. And when it comes to breathability, I do feel it is held back. The only time you really see the mesh panels on this sneaker is very slightly on the toe box and the tongue. Most of this sneaker is covered in that canvas material alongside those leather overlays. So that's why, in my opinion, these do feel a lot more insulated, and that's not what you want from a summer banger. So out of 10, I have to give a 7. Not the worst when it comes to breathability, but certainly not the best. So broskies, out of the two, there can only be one winner. Which one will get the buy and which one will get the buy? So broskies, like I have mentioned at the start of this video, they are very similar, but also very different. And because they look very similar, a lot of people will be torn in terms of which one to get. So of course, this is the purpose of this video. And overall, in terms of the feeling on foot, the pricing, the comfort, and of course, the breathability, these are all essential points to look for when it comes to buying sneakers in the summer. I have to give the crown to the Future Rider. Can we all give this beautiful sneaker a round of applause? Now, by any means, the Street Rider is not a bad sneaker, but out of the two, for me, in my opinion, it was very easy to make this choice. It just gave me that little bit more, and especially for being the cheaper option, not to forget that on-foot feel. Even though these fit a little bit too snug, I would still rather wear these. But broskies, let me know what you think. Which one would you go for? Have you already copped a pair of either sneaker, or have you gone for a different summer banger? Leave your comments down below, and of course I will be pinning the best ones. So broskies, there you have it. I really do hope you liked this comparison review video, and if you want to see more comparisons, leave it down below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share, and of course, until the next episode, take care.